Call of Duty developer Treyarch has reaffirmed its commitment to an inclusive place to work in a Pride Month post, and they were subsequently roasted by players, and rightfully so, many of them pointing out the company's hypocrisy. But we know these companies don't really care about hypocrisy because they are trying to push the agenda, and they are primarily staffed by true believers of the wicked ideology. And that is why we have to continue to expose this, continue to fight back against this in the various forms that we have available to us. I wrote this up over at phantompulse.com. You can find the link in the description below. This is what they posted over on X. Everyone deserves to be seen, heard, and celebrated for who they are. This is a lie. They don't believe this because we know this because they literally turned off the replies. So they don't actually believe that everyone deserves to be seen, heard, and celebrated for who they are, because they don't want people that are going to call out this wicked, evil ideology and agenda. They don't want people to see the truth. Instead, they want people to see, hear, and celebrate the people living these wicked lifestyles, these sinful lifestyles. That is what they want you to see, hear, and celebrate, because they want it to be normal. They want more people to be dragged down into their depravity. And it's just utterly sick and disgusting. Nevertheless, they go on and say, this Pride Month, we reaffirm our commitment to an inclusive place to work where creativity thrives. To our players, teammates, and partners, we see you, we support you, and we're proud to work alongside you. As I said, the company was torched in the quote replies, with many people pointing out the company's hypocrisy by turning off replies, but claiming everyone deserves to be seen, heard, and celebrated for who they are. Tamsa Nerd wrote this: remember that they are using AI to search for mean words and then ban you from the $70 game you paid for. They can be heard, not you. They are included, not you. And again, that is part of the agenda, right? They will use this language as everyone deserves to be seen, but then they will turn off the replies knowing that people are going to dispute this wicked agenda and actually share the truth. And they don't want you to see that. They don't want you to see that. Andrew Dahl wrote, everyone deserves to be seen, heard. Locks replies for the post, go F yourself. Straight and to the point. Pixel Schizo questioned, if everyone deserves to be heard, why won't you open the replies so you can hear everyone? Well, we know why, right? We know why, because they have an agenda to push, and they don't want that agenda to be disputed at all. They don't want to actually have a battle an intellectual battle. They don't want to have an intellectual battle. They don't want to engage in any kind of debate because they know, I think many of these people know that that they lost, that they would lose, and that their agenda is indeed wicked and evil. Because truth isn't on their side. Truth isn't on their side. That's why they don't want to engage in that. Daddy Deddy wrote, go ahead and turn those effing comments off. You don't truly believe in what you say. Post. You're cowards. Everyone knows it too. You're not fooling anyone. You're effing pussies. We also had Tyler Hansen. He recalled how Call of Duty pulled its Nick Merckx skin after Nick Merckx noted that individuals who engage in disordered LGBTQ plus activities should leave little children alone. Not only did Call of Duty remove the Nick Merckx bundle that was back in 2023, but it declared we are focused on celebrating Pride with our employees and our community. This is what Hansen wrote. Call of Duty used to be about competition, not politics. When Nick Merckx said the LGBTQ plus community should leave children alone, they scrubbed his bundle entirely and issued a statement on how they were dedicated to Pride. We just showed you that. But they'll sell you flashy Pride-themed skins and promote weed bundles weekly. That's right, because they have an agenda to sell, and they're going to use Call of Duty as that vehicle to sell that agenda. We've seen this play out in various different mediums, not just in video games and Call of Duty. We've seen it in movies, television shows, etc., books. It's all throughout our society, which is very sick. Our society is extraordinarily sick that this has become so widespread. Anyways, Hansen goes on and says, voice chat is now auto-moderated by AI. One flagged phrase and you're out. Remember, everyone deserves to be seen and heard. But if you get flagged by their AI, you're out. You're out. Can't play the game that you paid money for anymore. This isn't evolution, it's erosion. Right, because we know that this agenda is all about destruction. It's about destruction. And it's specifically about destruction of people's souls and the souls of our culture and our society. It's sick. The soul of the franchise is buried, and obviously the soul of the franchise here, as Hansen points out, the soul of the franchise is buried under virtue signaling and store updates. I actually think that virtue signaling is a misnomer now. They're not actually signaling any virtue at all. Obviously, that it's not virtuous to embrace pride whatsoever. It's a sin, one of the 7 deadly sins. But as I said, I think these people are true believers, and they are trying to push this wicked immorality on to people, and that's why you clearly don't see them doing the opposite. They're not promoting Christ-themed skins, right? They're not doing that. They aren't. So they can't even say that they're somehow being neutral. And neutral is ridiculous either, especially when the choice is between good and evil. If you're pretending to be neutral in an option to be good and evil, you're just evil, right? In today's Call of Duty, politics comes first, gameplay is secondary, and that's why the community is walking away in record numbers. A perfect example of a once great franchise forgetting the audience who made them successful in the first place. And we've seen this. The Black Ops game has some kind of non-binary character that they added into it. And then if you want to look at his comment about the player base shrinking, back in January, the game had lost nearly 80% of its peak player counts on Steam following the Black Ops 6 release. It has rebounded slightly since then. I think it was like 65,000 was like the peak back in January when I covered that. How you can see the most recent 24-hour peak was 74,280. That's still down over 76% since it hit a peak of 315,334 players after Black Ops 6 release. You can see how it's gone down. Had a little bit of a revival here. I would assume that there was some kind of like new patch or something that they released in April. And it seems to have been pretty decently steady from April, but again, still kind of trending downward, just not as steep as what we saw back in November, where it like dropped off a cliff into January. But if you look at the reviews, still all mixed. Lots of negative reviews over there. Not positive. Players are not I guess, enjoying the game as what it once was. And it clearly is not the juggernaut that it once was. I want to say back in like maybe the mid 2000s. I remember everyone playing the zombie Call of Duty. Everyone was doing that. Like you couldn't find anyone who wasn't doing it. The game is also not even in the top 20 most played games on Steam. Its 24-hour peak was only good enough for 21st. Behind Helldivers 2, Stardew Valley, War Thunder, Dune Awakening, and Space Warrior. I mean, you can see how it's not in the top 20 anymore, which is kind of crazy to think about with Call of Duty. So people are indeed leaving the game. They're not playing anymore. And I think they are going to learn the lesson that a lot of companies are learning, that we've seen with Disney, Marvel, Star Wars. You embrace this ideology, you embrace this agenda, and people will indeed leave. They will leave. Whether they are doing it, again, consciously or subconsciously. I think people do recognize in their souls when something is very sick and evil and is trying to be pushed on them. And obviously, a lot more people realize it sooner rather than later. And people do leave, and they do eventually say no to a lot of this stuff because they are looking for something more out of their entertainment. They're looking for something that's going to point them upwards, not drag them down. And that's what Call of Duty is doing now. It's dragging you down with all of this disgusting agenda that it is pushing. But let me know what you guys make of this. Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, especially to each other, and to always, always speak the truth.
Why would you be afraid of the people? Why are you not afraid of God instead of man?